Welcome to the HOA Beat. I'm Cyndi Sullivan, and this is Brandon Vaughn with Carolina Pool Management. Thank you, Brandon, for joining us today. So we wanted to invite Brandon today to talk about something that we all work with here in our company, and that's homeowners association pools. And we've been working with Carolina Pool Management for many years among some other local companies, and we thought it would be good to have his perspective on some common questions that we hear from our board members. I'm going to start with a question of what type of gate access system do you guys find works best for a community?
There's a number of different types of access systems. The more popular one now is, of course, the gate access controls, remote monitored fob systems. Very popular for a number of reasons, but that offers the most control of all the gate access systems. Allows you to program times, control access for people that don't pay dues. And it's pretty popular. And the other thing is it doesn't require much follow-up work from volunteers from the neighborhood to come back, locking and unlocking the gates.
That's good, and we can do it remotely from here.
Right. The technology's improved so much to where it's, they're fairly reliable. They have battery backups on all of them, so if they do have power outages, the technology's gotten where they're a much better system.
Yeah.
The requirement's only that it be self-locking, self-closing, self-latching gates and 54 inches high for the most part, so the main gate rules. So you can have a number of different ones, but the accesses, the fob systems definitely seem to grant you the most control over what you're trying to do.
That's good. And then, of course, if someone doesn't pay their assessments, as you mentioned, that's a good control mechanism for us to, just they wouldn't be allowed in. And then any staffing that's on site from your company wouldn't have to address that, really.
Right. You always have to worry. If somebody truly wants to get into the pool, they're going to try their best to get into the pool, whether it's jumping the fence, getting people to let them in. Staffing can help control that as well. And fobs aren't going to eliminate that, but no other gate's going to be able to eliminate that either.
Yeah.
If somebody wants to get in, they're going to try their hardest and fight to try to get into that pool and go swimming.
Yeah, just deal with that as
and
it
it's
comes
just
up.
a matter of the staff that you have accessible to deal with that at the time.
Well, it brings us to our next question, talking about the staffing. So when is it appropriate for a community pool to have a lifeguard? Maybe also compared to an attendant instead of a lifeguard, and maybe no staffing.
Right. Well, the difference is a gate attendant, their main priority is controlling the gate. They're going to be positioned at the gate where they're greeting people, they're speaking to people as they're coming into the pool, making sure that they have a fob, have a pass, however the community chooses to operate that. But they're controlling that gate. That is their main job. You'll see them, during slower days, they'll walk around cleaning a little bit more than what a lifeguard would be because their focus is not going to be on the pool. It's the gate and keeping up with the facility throughout the day. Several places go to that. Even some of the busier pools have attendants. And if you don't have the problem, if you have a fairly active community with lots of volunteers, a lot of times they can help control that as well. And you don't necessarily need the attendant if you have an active community, but this definitely helps. The attendant helps add to that. A lifeguard it's an extra layer of protection.
Yeah.
So if lots of little kids, features, mushrooms, slots, things like that, honestly add extra hazard to the water. Lifeguard provides extra layer of protection along with the extra insurance that comes from the pool companies to go along with that.
That's good.
Nothing's going to replace, of course, a parent or guardian watching their child because there's other people that are going to be swimming in that pool. Nobody's going to watch your kid as well as you do.
That's right.
But it does have that extra layer of protection for busier swimming pools. Deeper water, of course, it is a requirement that you do have to, pools over 5 feet, that you do have to have that lifeguard in place because of that extra hazard.
And then sometimes maybe more than one lifeguard if a pool is oddly shaped or very large.
That becomes one of the problems. If you do have a larger swimming pool, then you run the liability of one lifeguard isn't going to be enough. So if there ever were an incident, God forbid, that you were inadequately staffed, is almost worse than having no staff because you only had one guard there on staff.
That's right.
So.
And so it's important to note also that if you choose to have no staffing, there's always going to be signage that is required by law in North Carolina to state no lifeguard on duty, swimming at risk. So the association is protected from that.
They are, yes. I mean, yes, they are protected from that end. And the pool company has minimal insurance to cover any negligence or anything like that.
Yeah.
But it definitely puts a higher priority on parents watching their kids because there's nobody else there as a backup when that happens.
That's right. Well, that's good. And I guess what's important to note also, if you're listening in a community that you live in, is looking for a pool management company or some advice and counsel, a company like Carolina Pool Management is always going to advise you what would be the best option as far as any staffing for your particular circumstance. And sometimes, it doesn't just stop with, well, this is what our budget can afford. You really have to look at what's the right thing to do.
Right.
What should you work towards? So you guys are always there for answering questions.
And the other thing you have to keep in mind is, all of our pool attendants are CPR certified and lifeguards are CPR certified. And so, if there ever were something to go wrong, there is, a backup to treat it. Not all residents or community members are going to be CPR certified. So if there were that incident, they're waiting on EMS to get there to provide that service to the child.
Yes. Well, that's good. So I want to talk also about lighting. I was just talking with a community recently that was asking about having their community pool be open later in the evening, and they didn't have enough lighting already there in order to do that based on the ordinances and the laws. In general, can you just speak to maybe what's the requirement in this area?
10 lumens per square foot of deck space, which is highly lit. You can't have any dark spots. You need to be able to see the safety equipment from the other side of the pool. And all pool lights working inside the pool as well, so that there's no dark spots or shadows around the pool. You need to be able to clearly see in case someone were to trip, fall, get hurt on the deck, or fall in the pool.
Yeah.
Any of those things you need to be able to clearly see from a distance away. And if you don't have that, then it's not safe and it's against health code to be able to do that.
Okay, so forgive me, but I don't have any idea what a lumen is. So my thing I'm just going to ask you is, if someone were interested in looking into that, could they ask you guys about that?
Absolutely. We have electricians, and there's several qualified people that can do the work. They'll come in and they can do a light test with a light meter, and then quote based on the lighting that you would need to meet the requirement for that.
Okay.
If there's no lighting there and it's a large area, of course it's going to be relatively expensive, and of course smaller pools are going to be less expensive. That doesn't need as much.
Yeah, and I guess the question is, what are you going to be getting? Maybe another hour or two a day? Is it worth it for the community's budget? So community, we need to look at all that. Okay, so you're just thinking toward the coming pool season for 2017. Are there any new laws that are coming up where communities need to be made aware of?
All the laws are really minimal this year, and most of it honestly apply towards us as companies of stuff that we have to address and take care of. It deals with service pools now in Mecklenburg County. They need a variance. So I have to file a letter and get the variance back. It's a law that's been in place for a while, but hasn't been followed apparently. Okay. I was unaware of it myself, but
and so
could have to apply for that.
What's a service pool?
Service pool is a non-staffed pool. So anything that the service tech just comes and they just service one time per day, and that's all the company presence has there. It's just that one visit per day.
Okay.
So but they would have to apply for the variance for that with homeowner associations.
Okay, and then any pool management company in this area would know that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And then again, it's new, but they are going to be enforcing that in Mecklenburg County this year.
Another thought I was thinking of regarding just budgeting for and maybe a way to save money. Do you guys recommend that pools have a pool cover in every instance, or is that something, what would be the pros and cons of that?
I always recommend a pool cover. It'll prolong the plaster life. It does allow you to be able to turn your pumps off for the winter time. Pool covers provide UV protection, so the sunlight doesn't actually go through the UV rays, don't burn off the chlorine and the chemicals that are inside the pool. So if you shock it and maintain and do a proper treatment, then you don't have to worry about your pool going green. You'll just bump the pool on one more time throughout the year, and it'll be taken care of. You just got to keep checking the chemicals under the cover and make sure that it's properly chemical balanced.
Right, and so, but that's also a budget savings, right? Once you pay for the cover, the electrical.
There's a lot of effort put forth in the wintertime trying to keep up with the pools. A lot of leaves are falling, heavy debris, things like that. It's part of our contract as well, so you would save money off of the contract as well as the energy savings for your pump room as well.
There you go. Okay, something to think about.
And there's some pools that it's not going to be able to be provide a pool cover because of the size, custom fit, things like that. And that there's other new technology out there such as VFDs that will allow you to have those power savings as well. That's typically a 2-year payback on that as well.
Okay, and what's a VFD?
Variable frequency drive. You can, if you have 3-phase power, even if you have single-phase power on these larger motors that are $400, $500, $600 a month to run, you can hook up a variable frequency drive to them, and it's a larger upfront expense up front, but it'll allow you to throttle down your pumps during those six months of the off season. Be able to run at half speed, and it'll cut your power bill in half.
Okay, wow. So that's good.
Mm-hmm.
So consult your pool company for
power savings are popular now.
Yeah, sure. Why not? It's available.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about some people in the community that help you guys. So my question is, what is most successful? If there's a board member or a committee member liaison with the pool manager or the community manager, just I guess for issues that come up, maybe work orders that need, something you need to have repaired.
It's always nice to have someone on site to be able to help. If there's a committee member or someone that's there on a regular basis that has the time to volunteer, communication always helps everyone do their job a little bit better. So if you have someone that's able to provide you follow-up and feedback, let you know of any circumstances. If there's an emergency at the pool and they have to call you, then you have to call us. It's going through an extra layer that could just delay the time response. So it is nice to be able to have someone there. We do post our cell phone number at all the pools to hopefully eliminate some of the emergencies that take place out there. Of course, fob systems, access systems, we don't have control over those things. So calling us directly for those, we can't really control those items. But emergencies that we need to hurry up and get out there, it is nice to be able to communicate with us direct.
That's right. Well, that's good. So we'll remember to talk with the communities that we work with and encourage a board member or a committee member to be a point of contact. I think, like you said, the goal, I think, is really time savings and also on-site, seeing it, understanding it quicker.
Communication with everybody helps everything run a little bit smoother. The more feedback you get, the better off all of us can do our jobs. And I think it's just better if you have the more people involved, the better.
Right. That's good. Yeah, because I know sometimes for me personally, we might be talking about an issue. I haven't seen it. I didn't experience it. I'm trying to then convey it to the rest of the people who are going to make the decision about spending the money. And I'm like, Brandon, what'd you say? Tell me, what's that big word?
Right.
And so, you can get a little lost in translation maybe.
Absolutely.
So that's a good recommendation. So is there anything else that, just thinking about the whole process that a community can do to make your job flow better?
Every community is different. Everyone's expectations are a little bit different. So communication always helps relay that. And, there's little tweaks that we can make. There's little tweaks that we can help neighborhoods to make as well that can hopefully make a smoother pool season.
Yeah, and one thing I think about, for example, is making sure you guys have all the right keys for all the doors, the pump room, the electrical room, the gate. Did it get rekeyed or is the fob system upgraded?
It happens constantly. We get out to a pool and locks have been changed and we can't get in and do our job, or someone is taking the keys and we can't do our service for the day, and that takes a lot of time to go back and take care of that, right?
Yeah, so remember the pool management company when you make changes.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we'll remember that. All right, so we have a question of the day we wanted to put out there. We talk with a lot of board members, and so this is something that came up. So what is the best way to reach a point of contact for any issues residents have while they're at the pool? And then when should they call the pool company versus, their community manager?
Right. Well, definitely access goes directly to the property management company. We don't handle the financial records and don't block people from accessing the pool.
Sure.
If, like we said before, if there's an emergency, someone used the restroom in the pool, you hear a noise that doesn't sound quite right, someone's throwing furniture in the pool, vandalism, things like that, it's a whole lot quicker just to call us directly, and we can address that pretty quickly when that's the case.
Well, that's good. So you're going to have at every pool that you manage a board somewhere where there's a phone number for the point of contact for that pool, and then we will have that as well for our company. That's good. So as long as that's visible, then people can make that call. Really, that's our hope. They're making that proper call on their own when something does happen.
Right.
Thank you, Brandon. Yeah, we appreciate the partnership we have with you guys running the pools that we manage, and our vendors help us be successful. So
Thank you very much for having me.
thank you. Until next time, HOA Beat. Have a great day.